Hey guys, Arm&Gun here tonight with an interesting talk that I think is long overdue. It's a video I've been thinking about for quite a long time now, and that is the fate of the 2A. Is it here to stay or is it about to be washed away? Now, what prompted this video, I've been thinking about it for a while, making notes and taking a lot of personal observations, but last night, a post from the Joe Biden campaign, Sleepy Joe, jumping out with a big bold claim. 3 words: ban assault weapons. Pretty crazy, pretty crazy. Now, we're going to evaluate that post really quickly, and then we're going to approach the broader issue of the 2A under attack from a number of positions, a number of elements that have fed into this. Namely, the pandemic, the protests that turned riots, that turned defund the police movement, that feeds into this incredibly. And through a really interesting aspect that we'll talk about that I think is going to be the saving grace. We're going to discuss that, and then we're going to close off and do a quick shout out to the brothers up in the Great White North Canada, some stuff that's going on in Canada, the fact that they might have another election this year, and that gun ownership, a lot of these assault weapons, right, they're heavily contested, got banned earlier there this year. We'll talk more about that at the end, but let's get into this. So number one, this post from Joe Biden was one of the most engaged with posts on his page in the recent future. I looked back, scrolled through, there was only one that I really saw that got more likes, and it was like him and Obama. So, I mean, I'm going to say most of those likes were for Obama, not for Biden. So, which actually makes this a bit scary, right? Like, this post got over 125,000 likes in the first 24 hours, tons of engagement, and a lot of it was actually supportive, right? So, scary as that is at surface value, should we be scared? I say not a chance. Why? Because this is the hand that we all knew the liberals had, the Democrats had, and that, of course, they were going to play. They take a strong position against gun ownership and the Second Amendment every chance that there's a whiff of power at play, and they're back at it. This is going to be one of the most hotly contested elections, I think, regardless of the results. But the competition is heating up fiercely, and for one very important reason, I think the liberals are going to double down on the gun control issue. Also, while we're talking about this, I'm just going to walk you guys around my gun room, kind of the gun studio thing we got going on here. So give you guys a bit of a tour around that as I'm talking, just to give you guys some stuff to look at in case you're not super interested with this kind of semi-political chat. It's not going to be all political, but some of it is. And I don't normally want to get too involved in politics, but nature of the beast, with this kind of conversation, it's going to come up a little bit. So bear with me, give you some good gun porn to look at, and we'll get through this. So, why are the Democrats going to double down on the topic of gun control? Well, I think it's because they've largely alienated a lot of their more moderate base in the last few months with their positions on some of the lockdown stuff, some of the playing favorites with some of the posts. I don't want to get really into the Black Lives Matter stuff. I definitely side with a lot of the more virtuous elements of the movement. I also agree with some of the, not defund the police, but police reform in some elements. I'm not an expert, but I do agree that if there's a bad cop out there, just like if there's a racist out there, you gotta call him down, you gotta get him out. But largely, I'm very supportive of the police, the military. I recognize the value those institutions hold and their place within society. They definitely do great things, and I 100% support our boys and girls in blue and the military at large. And the right of an individual's First Amendment, the right to assembly, the right to free speech, 100% respect the right to protest, COVID or not. However, I don't respect politicians that will support Black Lives Matter, but not Blue Lives Matter and other such things. It's kind of going to be a one-size-fits-all. And, well, that's all I'm going to say about that. If you guys want to learn more in that respect, go check out Tim Pool. Solid dude, great channel. I watch a lot of his stuff, listen to a lot of his stuff. I digress. Getting back into this, I think they're going to double down because having alienated many of their more moderate, which is actually a large part of their base, right? While those on the left are fringe and they've kind of been discussed nonstop in the media lately, they actually represent a smaller percentage of the overall population and of the Democrats' base. And I think they're realizing that with their particular hard stance on the defund the police recently, they alienated a lot of those crucial voters that they really need on their side going into the upcoming election. So I think they're going to double down on this issue of gun control because traditionally it's always been very easily accepted by a lot of the moderates. I mean, it's pretty easy for the average person who doesn't care about guns, doesn't know about guns, maybe aside from playing with them in a video game or something like that. But when they come and say, why do you need a 30-round mag? Why do you need a submachine gun? Why do you need an assault weapon? Why do you need a PS90? Man, I freaking love this thing. This thing is so bloody cool. Unloaded. Everything here is unloaded and proved clear before coming out of the safe or going on the wall or anything like that. Just as a quick disclaimer, catch all. But why do you need this? Why do you need a 30 caliber sniper rifle, semi-automatic still, but with only a 10 round, well, it's a 5-round mag? Why do you need that? Why do you need a semi-automatic M60 or a 50 caliber sniper rifle, right? All these scary buzzwords that the average person is going to be like, yeah, they probably don't. And also universal background checks, those things are pretty cool, right? Maybe not if you understand some of the more nuanced elements of those conversations of what all goes into behind that. But I'm kind of going off on a random massive tangent here. The main idea is that the average person would largely go along with those, and that's why they get a lot of traction with those issues. They play on fears. However, this year, that argument has one heck of an Achilles heel that just got exposed and doubled down on in its own right. We had COVID, the pandemic. What did the pandemic do? Caused mass uncertainty, confusion, and hysteria to the point where little old ladies were fighting tooth and nail with grown men over the last roll of toilet paper. Something absolutely ridiculous and something that I would have never even imagined possible. But it happened, and it happened all over the place. And if people are willing to go to those depths of depravity for humanity over toilet paper, can you imagine what they would do over a shortage of food or medicine that was needed by a loved one? Or even just police security and confidence in police response in general? What's going to happen then? Well, people quickly realized, people that I don't want to say are sheeple, but people that were in the general camp that just thought this was all crazy, right? They quickly realized that their safety and security might be in their own hands. And I think that scared a lot of people that wanted to just pretend that those things didn't matter and the government would handle everything. Because when the government started saying that they couldn't respond to certain things, or that there were certain shortages or whatnot, and the lockdowns and everything that ensued, that scared a lot of people, and rightly so. So, this led to 3 insane months of record gun sales. Over 8 million instant background checks performed, which would roughly indicate that I think 8 million guns were sold. And those are new guns only, new online gun sales from gun stores that participate in that program. And holy man, that was a staggering figure, right? But the next one is even more so. 40%, 40 of those gun purchases were conducted by new gun owners. 3.2 million guns purchased by new first-time gun owners. That is crazy, that is huge, and that is super significant for the rest of this conversation. That level of new people coming into the our camp, I should say, the gun ownership, because once you own a gun, your life changes a little bit. You know, everyone that's purchased a gun, and just your life changes after you got a gun in the house. It's a huge responsibility, and it changes you. You start looking at things a little differently when you have a gun in your house. And now there's 3.2 million, approximately 1% of Americans now are new gun owners. I think that is truly amazing for the Second Amendment and what it will help guarantee going forward. Now, it's not just that there's more gun owners, because there's more gun owners all the time. Video games are helping that, lots of other things are helping that. But one interesting anecdote that came out with all this was the frequent and hilarious public service announcements that many gun store owners were putting out on their social media accounts. People saying that, yes, welcome all the new gun owners. First things first, no, you can't pay more to take your gun home the same day. It doesn't work that way. We've got gun control. And then wink, wink with, you know, alluding to the fact that they're probably the type of people that helped push it through in the first place. People that normally had baseless disdain for firearms and firearm ownership and were easily misled into thinking that adopting harsher and harsher controls all the time would improve gun crime, things like that. Just doesn't work that way. Anyways, those people, it's just a funny anecdote because while most of the gun owners are laughing at the fact that all these, you know, liberal gun owners had to deal with all this crap that we've been having to deal with for years, are finally in the same boat, getting a taste of their own medicine, so to speak. While I laughed, I was also very pleased because that told me that a lot of these new gun owners were in fact of that crowd that normally had no care and would happily sell out the rights of the Second Amendment just because the media told them so, right? Those are the people of the general public that were easily swayed by the noise over here in the media and people that wanted power to reduce gun crime by putting in more gun control. Those are the people that will no longer be easily influenced because they got a crash course through the system, how it works. They now have a gun in their house. They're now looking into storage, proper, you know, locking stuff up, ammunition, using a firearm safely. They're starting to become part of the community, part of the crowd that's known about this for years. And they will no longer be used as a stick against us. And that is huge. That is probably the biggest takeaway. And that's the biggest Achilles heel to the typical misinformation conveyed by the anti-guns crowd. Knowledge, awareness, that's huge. And then after COVID, what happened? George Floyd, which again, we can talk about Black Lives Matter and the protests and all that kind of stuff. Again, all I want to say is that I'm pro First Amendment, therefore I'm pro protesting. That's all great and fine. But when that leads to riots, it freaks people out. And now there's an angry mob running around that's violent, and police, that coupled with the defund the police movement, man, that's just a recipe for new gun owners. That riots plus defund the police, no police, equals gun owners. That's my formula. And I think it adds up a lot faster than 2 + 2 = 5. And now, apart from the uncertainty that got people on the gun owning bandwagon in the first place, now there's actually threats, and they're more scared than ever, and gun stores can't keep up. So while the Democrats are going to probably come guns a-blazing with this argument, I say be aware, because they're going to do it. They're probably going to get nasty. But I think a lot of people aren't going to buy it, at least a lot less than would have 6 months ago. And that is something huge to rely on. And what you guys can do to help bolster this is inform your friends. Take someone out that's not really aware of guns. Take them out, take them to the range, show them a good time. Focus on safety, focus on them having a really good first experience. And maybe you can take them back. Show them how you store your stuff. Show them how ammo's locked up, all that kind of stuff. There's a ton of stuff to it that most people just are ignorant of. And it's not really their fault. They just didn't care about guns. And there's so much to this world that you don't know, you don't learn unless you invest the time, which why would you do unless you were passionate about it? So that's the best thing you can do. The other best thing you can do is point people in the direction of good advice. Colion Noir, great. He is a great spokesperson for our community, for gun laws, for oftentimes commenting on controversial shootings, things like that. Go check him out. Go check out Tim Pool. He's got a lot of great content as well. It just covers a lot of this political stuff. He's kind of lefty, but he's also libertarian, which I agree with. And I don't see eye to eye on everything with him, but I do think he makes a ton of sense. And that's probably about all I'm going to tell you guys tonight. Other than keep your chins up, this is an election year. This is going to be a hotly debated and dirty, ugly campaign. Gun owners will be thrown under the bus, but be confident that there are more people under that bus than there ever were before. more people that are going to be fighting for their right to the Second Amendment, and that is great. So that's that for my American friends, and for my Canadian friends, don't look too far down either. We might have a bright future coming up ahead of us as well. C-71 laid the groundwork to for the gun ban that hit us May 1st, which was crazy. Took out all of our AR-15s, all our 50 cals, a bunch of other stuff as well. But I think it was a purely partisan issue. It was done purely politically by the Liberal Party again, which saw an opportunity with the Nova Scotia mass killing. Almost as many people died in the fires that the crazy guy set than were shot by him. Something the media doesn't really talk about, but that's what the media does. The media is not our friend, not in our favor, and the Liberals jumped all over the opportunity to slam through some gun bans, which again was seen by almost everybody as being a purely political move, nothing to do with gun safety, because it only affects gun owners, legal gun owners that is. And all of the new Conservative Party members have vowed to repeal the ban, repeal C-71 that laid the groundwork for the ban, and I don't think they're gonna pull away from that, because the action was so partisan, so purely politically motivated. Even some of the media called that out. I don't think the politicians are gonna have much fear in walking it back. So I think that, and I think with all the controversies going with the Liberals, there could be a vote of non-confidence to the minority government this year. I think it's very likely. And while I'm sure they've earned a lot of points with all the payouts they've done throughout COVID, I think their days might be numbered before too much longer here. And that's the final thing, guys. If you guys want to see a lot of cool gun pictures like this, I post daily stories and posts on Instagram at arm.and.gun. Go check me out there. Give me a follow. Instagram really heavily restricts gun content. My page went from growing a few thousand people every month to barely breaking even because no one new sees the content anymore. Basically, you have to search me out organically to find me, and that's the way it is with all gun content on Instagram now. It's pretty sad. You will not find a gun in the Explore function. Just like you won't really find gun videos in the Explore side of YouTube either. So please consider subscribing, hit that notification bell, like, subscribe, comment, share, do all the things. They all really do help out this channel. If you want to go the extra mile, hit me up on Patreon as well. Some extra perks there, and you can message me directly. So thanks a ton, guys. Got a cool video coming out next, probably next, on the ultimate gun room, kind of how I put this thing together, my motivations for different things, and what I think you need in your gun room. That'll be coming out soon. Thanks a ton, guys. Arm&Gun out.